Good evening. On behalf of Sheriff Grady Judd and the members of the Polk County Sheriff's Office, welcome and thank you for coming to the 2013 Annual Awards Ceremony, where we recognize Sheriff's Office members for their outstanding public service contributions made during 2012. I'd like to briefly recognize several invited guests who have taken time to be with us this evening. Judge Robert Williams, Judge Ronaldo Ojeda, Judge Bob Griffin, Judge Catherine Cumby, Judge Wayne Durden, Judge Bobby Fagers, Judge Susan Flood, Judge Jalal Harb, Commissioner John Hall, Clerk of Court Stacy Butterfield, Commissioner Burt Goddard, Dundee, Jim Freeman, County Manager, Pete McNally, Emergency Management Director, Chief Gary Hester, Winter Haven PD, Chief Ed Freeman, Lake Hamilton PD, Natalie Knight with Congressman Daniel Webster's office, Assistant U.S. Attorney Chris Murray, and Steve Davenport, Supervisor for FDLE. Thank you all for being here. Our success as law enforcement agencies depend on many things. One of the most important ingredients of our success is building community partnerships. Without working closely with our citizens, businesses, and other organizations, there is no way that we could accomplish much of what we have, especially our low crime rate and our high quality of life. We have some very special people and businesses who have partnered with us to make this ceremony possible through their generous donations. First, I'd like to recognize and thank Mosaic Fertilizer, LLC, Oakley Transport, Incorporated, Florida's Natural Growers, Bright House, and Star and Shield Insurance. They are all truly outstanding companies and great corporate partners in our community. They genuinely care about the community, and they have been longtime supporters of Polk County law enforcement. In addition, we have several corporate-level sponsors who have made significant contributions to this event. They are exceptional businesses who do so much for the community. We are proud to partner with them to make Polk County a great place to live and work. They are Center State Banks, Phillips Healthcare, Emergency Care and Resuscitation, Jarrett Gordon Ford, Valenti Campbell Trone Tamayo Aranda, PA, Comcar Industries, Constangi Brooks and Smith, LLP, Johnson's Plant Rental, Florentino's Italian Kitchen, Fred Southern Kitchen, and Lassiter Flowers. Our other outstanding sponsors who have contributed to this event are SunTrust, Rada Construction, LexisNexis, Citizens Bank and Trust, Toyota of Winter Haven, Terry Lobb Catering, and Florida's Finest Linen. Also, for their support of this event, a special thanks goes to the outstanding staff here at Haines City at the Lake Eva Banquet Hall. This is a beautiful facility. Haines City has great civic pride and passion for making Polk County one of the best places to live in Florida. Join me in thanking all of our tremendous partners. It's my pleasure to recognize those who will be participating in tonight's program. Ms. Andrea McDonald, the Executive Director of the Office of Business Affairs. Chief Bryant Grant, the Department of Detention Chief. Chief W.J. Martin, the Department of Law Enforcement Chief. Scott Wilder, the Director of the Office of Communications. Of course, Sheriff Grady Judd, and my name is Steve Lester. I'm the Chief of Staff. As a convenience to our members and our families who are receiving recognition today, we are taking photographs, and the sheriff will be available after the ceremony for photos with the recipients and their family members. However, if you brought your cameras, please feel free to move around, move about, come on up front and take that perfect shot to capture this moment in time. But just so you know, our public information officers will email a link to access all official photos to all of our honorees. We'll begin our program this year with a remembrance of one of our own Sheriff's Office family members who was killed in the line of duty this year, Master Deputy Sheriff Shane Robbins. Of course, next year at this ceremony, Shane's family will receive the Sheriff's Citation, which is presented in memory of members who die from injuries sustained in the line of duty. It is the highest citation issued by the Sheriff's Office, but we just couldn't do this ceremony without recognizing Shane's sacrifice. They will always be a part of our family. As we always do, we will begin this ceremony with an invocation Following the prayer, the Polk County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard will post the colors. We'll then honor our flag and country by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll remain standing for the national anthem. Reverend Dean Emery, one of our volunteer chaplains, will offer up the invocation. Dean?
Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the posting of the colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the national anthem. Let us pray. Father God, we come before you right now and we thank you for your love. God, we thank you for the ones that even as we're in here enjoying this time are out there on our behalf. God, we thank you for the families who stand behind every member of the Sheriff's Office. Lord, we thank you for their willingness to be there. God, we ask you to just give us the strength that we need to go and do the jobs, whether we're ones that work in the jail, the street, anywhere within the agency. God, we just ask you to bless. And it's in the name of Jesus Christ that we pray. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Thank you, Dean. I'm very pleased to now introduce Ms. Kristen Long, one of our own talented Sheriff's Office telecommunications members who will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled
Thank you, Kristen. That was wonderful. You guys can sit down. A number of people have put a lot of work to make this award ceremony so enjoyable. Thanks to our honor guard, Ms. Donna Parker, the chairman of our awards committee, Jenny Burton and the crime prevention team, the professional staff of PGTV, In Focus Visual Communications, Deputy Sheriff Brian Brucci, Cami Burdett, the cadets from the Tennessee Thompson Institute of Public Safety, our Sheriff's Office explorers, our detention trustees supervisors, and a special thanks to Matt Costine for his audio-video expertise and to Sue Bartell for putting this entire event together. Thank you all very much. Every year, we come together to recognize, celebrate, and thank our members for their hard work and outstanding service to the citizens of Polk County. Now I'd like to call your attention to a number of our members who have already been recognized by other organizations for their outstanding professionalism during 2012. These members are in your program. To all of our members present who have received these awards, please stand at the end of the video so that we can recognize you.
The Association of Public Safety Communication Officials recognizes Captain Kurt Lockwood as Director of the Year, and the following for Team of the Year: Deborah Taylor, Lauren Gray, Steve Chase, Gwen Lockery, Kristen Long, Jessica Braun, Dennis Grafey, and Brandy Woods. American Legion Post 8 recognizes retired Deputy Sheriff Keith Sumner and Deputy Sheriff Vicki Callahan as Deputy Sheriff of the Year. Detention Deputy of the Year is Sergeant John Seiler. Reserve Deputy Sheriff of the Year, Reserve Lieutenant Yinner Tegrol. Law Enforcement Telecommunicator of the Year, Ray Johnson. Fire EMS Telecommunicator of the Year, Ashley Archer. And Explorer of the Year, Alexander Alkeld. Bartow Rotary recognizes Detective Heather Mundell for Deputy Sheriff of the Year. Polk County Police Chiefs Association recognizes Deputy Sheriff Vicki Callahan and retired Deputy Sheriff Keith Sumner for Deputy Sheriff of the Year. The Distinguished Service Award goes to Deputy Sheriff Ralph Wilson. The Knights of Columbus recognizes Detective Zoe Viscarando for Deputy Sheriff of the Year. The President's Roundtable recognizes Deputy Sheriff Vicki Callahan, retired Deputy Sheriff Keith Sumner, as Deputy Sheriff of the Year. The Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 46, recognizes Deputy Sheriff Ralph Wilson, Deputy Sheriff of the Year. The Florida Animal Control Association recognizes Investigator Mary Kirkland for Animal Control Officer of the Year. The Lakeland Bar Association's Golden Badge Award goes to Deputy Sheriff Ralph Wilson. And ACES International presents Excellence in Performance Award to Deputy Sheriff Vicki Callahan and retired Deputy Sheriff Keith Sumner.
Our next presentation is for the Medal of Honor, our highest award presented by the Sheriff's Office.
On November 4, 2012, Southwest District Alpha Platoon members were dispatched to a Mulberry residence where an armed man was threatening suicide and had threatened to shoot responding deputies who tried to intervene. Upon arrival, a perimeter was immediately established and the house was surrounded. Deputy Speakman led a team of fellow deputies in evacuating nearby citizens, many of whom were elderly. While deputies attempted to aid citizens, the man began firing at deputies. Though under fire, Deputy Speakman continued his evacuation efforts. While at great personal risk, being in the direct sight of the armed subject, he selflessly carried one elderly bedridden resident to a waiting ambulance. Ultimately, the subject was subdued, and no residents or deputies were injured. Due to his leadership under danger and his heroic conduct, Deputy Speakman is hereby awarded the Medal of Honor.
Our next presentation will be for the Medal of Valor.
On July 10, 2012, Deputy Sheriffs Christopher Broadhead, Nicole Lyons, and Mark McCrae responded to a residence where a suspect had rammed his vehicle through the garage door of his ex-girlfriend's home and taken her hostage. The suspect had poured gasoline on himself, the victim, and throughout the house in a desperate murder-suicide attempt. When the 3 deputies arrived, a large fire had erupted and the victim's cries for help could be heard. Without hesitation, the 3 deputies forced their way into the residence and began to make their way to the bedroom where the victim was being held. Fortunately, the victim had managed to escape her captor and met the deputies on the stairs leading to the room. The victim was taken to safety. Exposing themselves once again to danger, the 3 deputies used their shields to aid firefighters attempting to extinguish the room fully engulfed in flames. Unfortunately, the suspect perished at his own hand in the fire as a result of his actions. For the victim's rescue and their heroic efforts to save the suspect, Deputies Broadhead, Lyons, and McRae are hereby awarded the Medal of Valor.
Deputy Sheriff Ralph Wilson will receive his Medal of Valor later in the ceremony. Our next presentation will be for Meritorious Service Awards.
The Polk County Sheriff's Office is well known as a fiscally responsible agency, utilizing in-house talent on projects as tax dollars are being conserved. After serving the Polk County Sheriff's Office over 33 years, Reserve Sergeant Charlie Fountain continues to be one of the most valued and resourceful members on whom we rely. Reserve Sergeant Fountain has used his unlimited contacts throughout the state of Florida to acquire various parts and equipment either through donation or at a reduced rate, aiding the PCSO in a variety of projects. These resources have been used at the Polk County Sheriff's Office Burnham McCall Training Center during the development of several major projects. Reserve Sergeant Fountain delivered dirt, reshaped berms, secured equipment for electrical wiring, and repaired driveways, all at no cost to Polk County taxpayers. Reserve Sergeant Fountain has assisted at animal control by picking up pet food from local distribution centers and the delivery of truckloads of dirt and clay to be used in construction of a pole barn and corral area. And he has assisted in the records section by transporting truckloads of full boxes to the archives unit for storage. Sergeant Fountain was also instrumental in assisting with designing memorial statues created in the likeness of PCSO Detective Wayman Allen and Deputy Sheriff Theron A. Burnham. Both men were killed in the line of duty. Both worked with Reserve Sergeant Fountain. Due to the tireless donation of his time and talents, Reserve Sergeant Charlie Fountain is hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Kurt Lockwood is responsible for the management of the Polk County Sheriff's Emergency Communications Center, which consists of 133 members, including 4 managers, 8 supervisors, 112 telecommunicators, and a 9-member training unit. Captain Lockwood has worked hard to ensure that the quality of service provided by the ECC is above and beyond the expectations of the customer. He has accomplished this goal by being a team player and an exceptional mentor. When he is confronted with situations, he listens closely without jumping to conclusions. Captain Lockwood is known to listen to ideas and complaints and to give merit where merit is due. He gives a voice to every member in the ECC and lets them know that what they think and feel matters. As a leader, Captain Lockwood is extremely approachable. He inspires innovation among the members he supervises by giving them the freedom to develop ideas. He empathizes and understands that the ECC members' working conditions can be highly stressful, and he strives daily to ensure that they are positively motivated, highly trained, and provided with the most up-to-date equipment possible. He constantly challenges members to grow and develop their talents in order to improve their roles within the agency. Because of his dedication to duty and willingness to work hard to ensure that the ECC is best of the best, he was nominated for and named the 2012 Florida APCO Communications Center Director of the Year. For his exceptional service in a duty of great responsibility and his significant contributions to the success of this agency, Captain Kurt Lockwood is hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. On July 1, 2010, a new law went into effect that required all public safety telecommunicators in the state to become certified by October 1, 2012. All public safety telecommunicators would have to attend a 232-hour training course. In response to this, telecommunicator supervisors Lauren Gray and Debbie Taylor took the lead to ensure that all affected agency members received the required training. Together, the two initiated and developed a training program. They developed a 240-hour program to be taught in-house at PCSO and also ensured that agency members took the steps to become qualified instructors in all portions of the course. This allowed the classroom training to be conducted on a schedule that was beneficial to PCSO and provided an enormous cost savings to the agency. Because of their efforts, the agency will not have to incur the costs of bringing instructors in or sending students to other venues for training and instruction. In addition, outside agencies without a program of their own are afforded the opportunity to have their members attend the mandatory training here at PCSO. Miss Gray and Miss Taylor had the monumental task of merging 3 different telecommunication centers into one, which required the rewriting of directives, policies, and procedures, creating and implementing a training program for the newly merged ECC from the ground up, and maintaining all current certifications. Due to their efforts, 100% of the PCSO telecommunicators are state certified. For their exemplary efforts and contributions to the success of meeting our operational goals and for substantial cost savings, Lauren Gray and Debbie Taylor are hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. The Polk County Sheriff's Office has merged with several cities throughout the county to provide law enforcement and dispatch services, and contracted to provide dispatch services for several other cities. The agency also contracted to provide dispatch services for EMS, emergency management, and all city and county fire departments with the exception of the city of Lakeland. A PCSO telecommunications training team was formed to help with these monumental undertakings. The team consists of Supervisor Deborah Taylor and Jessica Braun, Stephen Chase, Lauren Gray, Dennis Grafey, Gwendolyn Lockery, Kristen Long, and Brandy Woods. This training team worked closely together to obtain our vision of improving the telecommunications section. The team first created a new state-of-the-art training program. They transferred the outdated call handling guide for law enforcement into a computerized interactive version and researched and implemented several new software programs. The team members assisted with the writing of an in-house 232-hour state certification program, attended the Florida General Instructor course to become certified instructors, and incorporated a 911 telephone line that allows for mock calls to be used in training sessions. For their significant contribution to the success of meeting our operational goals and the implementation of technical innovation, Deborah Taylor, Jessica Braun, Stephen Chase, Lauren Gray, Dennis Grafey, Gwendolyn Lockery, Kristen Long, and Brandy Woods are hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. In August 2008, Sergeant Kristen Shea began her role as the program director for the Associate of Science Criminal Justice program at Polk State College. When the program began, there were fewer than 60 students enrolled. Since that time, she has rewritten the program to include sworn and certified members, as well as civilian members and high school graduates. Due to her hard work, the program has grown to over 400 students. Sergeant Shea was also instrumental in the development and initiation of an entire online criminal justice program, which allows students to have flexibility as well as access to cutting-edge technology. In 2011, Sergeant Shea began writing the new Bachelor of Science Criminal Justice program for the college. She completed all of the necessary proposals for the state of Florida to approve the program, as well as the criteria necessary for the program to be accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. As a direct result of her actions and commitment to higher education, Polk State College was granted approval in July 2012 to begin the AS and BS criminal justice programs under her direction. Under Sergeant Shea's supervision, Polk State College is now able to provide the tools and resources necessary for others to become highly trained and well prepared. Ultimately, her efforts will result in improving the safety of our citizens and increasing efficiency and effectiveness in the law enforcement field. For her innovation, dedication, and commitment to furthering the mission of educating future law enforcement members countywide, Sergeant Kristen Shea is hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. Sergeant Greg Gorick has been a Polk County Sheriff's Traffic Unit Supervisor for the past 4 years. During 2012, Sergeant Gorick was instrumental in finalizing the acquisition and implementation of a new paperless crash report system, which saved the agency $267,000 in program costs. In addition, he also field tested and implemented a new paperless citation program that is fully compatible with a newly computerized management system. The new paperless citation system saved the agency an additional $225,000 in costs. Sergeant Gorick set a precedent by developing a strong partnership with the public by implementing traffic safety classes for teen drivers. One of the class goals includes preventing impaired driving through the use of a training simulator. In support of the Polk County Sheriff's Office Traffic Safety Campaign, Sergeant Gorick applied for numerous traffic safety grants, many of which have been awarded to the agency. These grants provided the agency with $70,000 worth of funds to expand personnel hours for DUI enforcement. Under his direction, the traffic unit has also participated in numerous statewide traffic safety challenges and placed in the top 3 in the state on several occasions. The unit's success in these competitions resulted in the agency being awarded free traffic safety equipment. Under Sergeant Gorick's direction in 2012, the traffic unit investigated 49 traffic fatalities, 4 of which were hit-and-run fatalities. The unit also investigated 6 DUI fatalities and made 6 arrests in those cases. For his exceptional service and commitment to increasing cost savings, increasing efficiency, and enhancement of the agency's positive image, Sergeant Greg Gorick is hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. Deputy Sheriff John Wyant began his PCSO career in February 2000. In 2008, he was assigned to the Information Technology Division as a liaison between IT and law enforcement during the implementation of the Tiburon Integrated System. Deputy Sheriff Wyant played a pivotal role in developing Tiburon. He devoted tremendous amounts of time and effort to the implementation of the main Tiburon Integrated System and to the implementation of the Tiburon Correction Management System, the Automated Reporting System, and the Records Management System modules. Deputy Wyant also exercised his knowledge of the Tiburon system to assist with the property and evidence interface between Tiburon, Franwell, RFID, and their disposition system. Deputy Wyant worked long hours through the night and attending patrol briefings on numerous occasions. Deputy Wyant was always available and willing to answer any questions from his colleagues and is eager to assist in any way he can. Without the continued assistance from Deputy Wyant, the overall success of the Tiburon project would not have been possible. With his assistance, the Polk County Sheriff's Office will continue to remain the pinnacle of public assistance in the law enforcement community nationwide. For his significant contribution to the success of our agency goals and his exceptional service, Deputy Sheriff John Wyant is hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. Mr. Michael McIntyre began working in the PCSO IT department as a volunteer in 2007. Michael decided to become a deputy sheriff in 2008, where he served in patrol in the Northwest and Southwest districts until 2012. He then moved out of state due to family obligations. Although he no longer lived in Florida, Michael continued to provide valuable assistance to PCSO. With his expertise and computer skills, Michael developed a time-saving and cost-effective software system called eSight, designed specifically for law enforcement agencies. The eSight system is an electronic citation system that enables deputies to operate with mobility from their laptop computers. Michael generously donated the eSight system to PCSO and all other law enforcement agencies in the county, saving our agency well over $100,000 and the county much more. The eSight system is used to generate automated traffic citations quickly, accurately, securely, and legibly. Using their agency-issued laptops in their vehicles, deputies and officers can issue tickets electronically and print a copy for the violator, all in a matter of minutes. The eSight system also allows PCSO and other law enforcement agencies to interface with the clerk's office to automatically transmit citation data. This interface alone saves untold amounts of time and money countywide. Because Michael developed the eSight system and provided it free of charge, we are able to remain a leader in the most innovative and up-to-date programs and processes in the law enforcement community. For his substantial contribution to the agency and the county, which provides substantial cost savings and increases our efficiency and effectiveness, Mr. Michael McIntyre is hereby awarded the Meritorious Service Medal. On July 6, 2012, while vacationing at a Florida Atlantic Coast beach, Sergeant Andy Beamer heard the frantic screams of 3 children in the water approximately 100 yards from the beach. Sergeant Beamer, a trained lifeguard, knew the children were in serious trouble with the rip current preventing them from swimming to shore. Sergeant Beamer immediately went into the water after the children. Holding on to 2 of the children and the third holding on to another child, Sergeant Beamer was able to pull the children to safety. Other beach visitors saw the rescue and quickly came to assist. Accidental drowning is the second leading cause of death for children between the ages of 1 and 14, and rip currents and undertows account for many of those tragic deaths. Sergeant Beamer's training as a lifeguard provided the skills needed to evaluate the situation and respond without hesitation. This immediate action resulted in 3 young lives being saved. Sergeant Andy Beamer is hereby awarded the Life-Saving Medal. On August 30, 2012, Deputy Vicki Callahan and retired Deputy Keith Sumner responded to a Grand Pines Boulevard residence in Lakeland after receiving information on a suspicious vehicle and a suspect attempting to forcibly gain entry to the home. Upon their arrival, Deputies Callahan and Sumner discovered the residence was on fire and the front door locked. Deputies Callahan and Sumner forced their way into the burning home and found an unconscious female victim in the foyer. Without hesitation or thoughts of their own safety, Deputy Callahan and Sumner removed their victim from the burning home and provided critical first aid. Due to their immediate action in the face of danger, which saved the victim from certain death, Deputies Callahan and Sumner are hereby awarded the Life-Saving Medal.
Deputy Summer had a family emergency and couldn't be here tonight.
On December 12, 2012, while on duty at the South County Jail, Deputy Kolkmeyer received a call for assistance in which an inmate had reportedly hung himself in his cell. Grabbing a cutting tool and rushing to the cell, Deputy Kolkmeyer saw the inmate kneeling over the bottom bunk with a sheet wrapped around his neck. Deputy Kolkmeyer quickly cut the sheet, allowing the unresponsive inmate to be laid on his back. Deputy Kolkmeyer then removed the sheet from the inmate's neck. Deputy Kolkmeyer determined the inmate was not breathing and had no pulse. He quickly began CPR, and ultimately, the inmate regained a pulse and began breathing. With additional medical assistance, Deputy Kolkmeyer then assisted in ensuring the inmate was taken by stretcher for additional medical assistance. Due to his quick response and critical intervention, Deputy Dustin Kolkmeyer is hereby awarded the Life-Saving Medal.
Detention deputies James Harmer and Kayron Brown will be receiving life-saving medals later in the ceremony. We'll now be presenting the Members of the Year awards.
Hello, my name is, my name is Scott Wilder. I'm the Director of Communications. First, we'll honor the Volunteer of the Year. Community involvement is the most powerful tool any law enforcement agency has in its fight against crime. With programs such as the Citizens Assisted Patrol, Seniors versus Crime, Sheriff's Office Chaplains, our electronic information gathering program, our new Volunteer Sheriff Service Officer program, and our many other volunteer opportunities, the Polk County Sheriff's Office has gained valuable assistance from thousands of dedicated volunteers. We now have over 3,200 volunteer members representing every part of our county, including 55 specific CAP communities and 2 recreational trails. In 2012, these volunteers worked over 135,000 hours for a total labor savings of almost $2.5 million. And for that, the sheriff gives them a free lunch once a year, a T-shirt, a ball cap, a free subscription to an electronic newsletter, and of course his famous birthday card. $2.5 million in the sheriff splurged for a birthday card. These programs are providing a visible presence that deters criminal activity, and as a result, crime in unincorporated Polk County is at historically low levels. We're proud to say that our volunteer program has earned the National Gold Presidential Volunteer Service Award, and now our Volunteer of the Year.
For over 2 years, Mr. Clyde Dunlop has assisted the PCSO Human Resources Division in scanning documents into personnel files, archiving documents, and assisting with the storage and transportation of documents and records. Mr. Dunlop is a great example for others, volunteering 371 hours in 2012, scanning nearly 20,000 documents into the iSynergy system. But even after all that, Mr. Dunlop is always willing to come in any time when asked to help with special projects. His insight and knowledge aided in improving the imaging process and streamlining pre-existing procedures. Mr. Dunlop is a conscientious worker. After completing his own tasks, takes the initiative to seek work from others in other areas and divisions. Due to his dedication and dependability and being an example to others, Mr. Clyde Dunlop is hereby recognized as the Polk County Sheriff's Office Volunteer Member of the Year.
And Clyde has such a service attitude. He got his award and he's already in the back, so.
All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Good evening, I'm Chief Martin. I'm the Chief of the Department of Law Enforcement. And if Scott will get out of my way, we'll move on. Next, we'll honor our Reserve Deputy Sheriff of the Year. The Polk County Sheriff's Office Department of Law Enforcement operates with the help of many reserved deputy sheriffs, both volunteer and part-time reserve deputies. This contribution to our agency is tremendous. Our reserve deputies have full law enforcement training and certification. They do an outstanding job making our law enforcement presence in the county broader and stronger. They represent a vital element in our proactive fight against crime, and they are a critical asset in our relationship with the community. In the last fiscal year, reserve deputies served over 5,831 hours for the people of Polk County. Now our Reserve Deputy Sheriff of the Year.
For more than 31 years, Reserve Deputy Sheriff Yinner Tegrol has worked tirelessly, volunteering thousands of hours of assistance to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. He has assisted patrol shifts, the traffic unit, and the crime suppression team with many of their initiatives. His constant voluntary contributions are evident with over 1,870 hours, providing 178 deputy backups, 441 arrestee transports, and issued 56 traffic citations in 2012, statistics which rival the activity of many full-time deputies. It is without question Reserve Deputy Tegrol takes great pride in his service to the citizens of Polk County and the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Reserve Deputy Sheriff Yinner Tegrol is hereby named Reserve Deputy Sheriff of the Year.
Hello, I'm Andrea McDonald, the Executive Director of Business Affairs. We will now honor our Civilian Detention and Law Enforcement Members of the Year. There are finalists in each category, and one member will be named the Civilian Detention Deputy and Deputy Sheriff Member of the Year. And it's a significant honor to have simply been nominated in this category. It is even more impressive to have been selected as a finalist out of the many nominations. Tonight, the finalists for each category will be announced, then those receiving honorable mention, sheriff commendations will receive the recognition, and then the Member of the Year will be recognized. Now it is my pleasure to recognize our civilian members. Of the 1,663 full-time members of the Sheriff's Office, 665 are civilians. These members often work in the background, ensuring that our sworn and certified members obtain the support needed to fulfill their responsibilities. Civilian members also work in direct operational roles, such as telecommunicators, crime scene technician, and court process servers. In either case, this agency could not function or accomplish its mission without them, so I am proud that they are recognized for the important work they do alongside their sworn and certified counterparts. We have 5 finalists. They have all demonstrated outstanding performance above and beyond what we expect. Now our finalists for Civilian Member of the Year.
Telecommunicator Ashley Archer received a 911 telephone call in August 2012 from the wife of a man who was unconscious. The caller frantically requested assistance. Ashley took control of the situation by calming the distraught wife and providing clear and proper instructions to begin and maintain CPR in an attempt to save the man's life. Ashley was relentless in her approach to providing CPR instructions, following the protocol exceptionally well and making sure she was effectively communicating to the caller and her daughter during the extremely stressful situation. Ashley kept them both focused on the task, which resulted in the victim being treated by arriving medical personnel and arriving at the hospital with a pulse, providing the victim with the best chance of survival possible. Miss Cindy Bird, administrative assistant at the sheriff's station in the city of Frostproof, has been a positive institution in the community and has worked hard to make sure the merger of law enforcement services with Frostproof was successful and was focused on effective and personal police services to residents and businesses. As a part of the Frostproof transition, a specific phone line was established between the South County Jail, the Frostproof Station, and the Sheriff's Office located in Bartow to provide a direct number that was not long distance as a customer service and cost-saving measure. When the Polk County Sheriff's Office moved the main operations center to Winter Haven, Cindy researched the continued necessity of this special data line. Her research concluded that a cost savings of approximately $12,000 a year would be achieved if this line was discontinued. She contacted all parties involved to discuss this issue and determined the elimination of the data line would not only be very cost-effective, but would not hinder the exceptional customer service that is provided to the citizens of the city of Frostproof. As fleet administrator, Francis Hart has led his team to embrace the continuous improvement philosophy, resulting in extraordinary increases in effectiveness and efficiency. He has been very influential in implementing a number of significant cost-saving initiatives, such as the use of BP gas cards, resulting in over $50,000 in savings. Switching to Right Express cards will provide a projected cost savings of over $10,000 annually. Switching to synthetic oil has resulted in thousands of dollars per year in savings and the reduction in maintenance and downtime costs. And systematic negotiations to reduce the cost of vehicle parts and equipment have saved thousands of dollars. In addition to his operational expertise, Francis Hart was a key part of the project to accurately create bronze statues of 2 deputy sheriffs who died as a result of injuries sustained in the line of duty, Detective Wayman Allen and Deputy Sheriff Theron A. Burnham. Francis knew and worked with both men in the 1980s, and he was instrumental in assisting with the design of their memorial statues. Animal control investigator Crystal Barber made a real difference in the lives of a Lakeland family whose home burned in October 2012. The Guglielmino family suffered a terrible loss. 2 family members died, their 67-year-old grandmother and 8-year-old son. The family dog, Max, a 2-year-old miniature pinscher, was presumed forever lost. Max was later found and turned over to animal control for safekeeping. Upon learning of the heartbreaking situation, Crystal made it her mission to try to ease a little of the family's suffering by returning Max to them. She made numerous contacts with the hospital, newspaper, government agencies, and local motels to find where the family was temporarily staying. Despite several dead ends, she kept developing and following leads to locate the family. 3 months later, she found them and told them the good news. Max was alive, well, and waiting for his loving family. In January, 4-year-old Michael Guglielmino and his family were reunited with Max. Crystal's commitment to go above and beyond to bring a little happiness to this family who lost so much shows care, concern, and strength of character. Victim witness advocate Alicia McComas assisted 260 victims of domestic violence in 2012. She is passionate regarding her work, which includes transporting victims to court for hearings, obtaining injunctions for protection, conducting in-home visits, acting as a liaison with other agencies, providing crisis intervention, delivering death notifications, and sometimes just providing a shoulder to cry on. As an example of her compassion and skill, she helped one victim of domestic violence whose jaw had been dislocated, requiring extensive surgery to repair the damage. Through months of diligent work and constant communication between the victim and the Florida Attorney General's office, she ensured the victim was compensated at 100% for her medical bills and missed time from work. During 2012, Alicia also trained 2 new members of the Victim Witness Advocate team and proactively updated the Victims Advocate Training Manual, while at the same time maintaining her caseload and attending college. She participated in a joint initiative with the United States Marshal's Office by compiling and detailing a logbook, and created a very detailed PowerPoint presentation with nearly 100 sex offenders who were arrested during a 3-month initiative.
Awarded a Sheriff's Commendation as Outstanding Finalist for Civilian Member of the Year is Crystal Barber. Unfortunately, Crystal had a family emergency today and is not able to attend this evening's event. She will be presented with her award at a later date. Also awarded a Sheriff's Commendation as an Outstanding Finalist for Civilian Member of the Year is Alicia McComas. Also awarded a Sheriff's Commendation as an Outstanding Finalist for Civilian Member of the Year is Ashley Archer. Also awarded a Sheriff's Commendation as an Outstanding Finalist for Civilian Member of the Year and awarded a Meritorious Service Medal for demonstrating exceptional performance of duty is Cindy Bird. Lastly, for his exceptional performance of duty, I am pleased to recognize the recipient of Meritorious Service Medal and the Civilian Member of the Year, Francis Hart. Francis could not be here tonight to accept his award. He is out of state celebrating his 25th anniversary with Vicki. We will make sure to present him with his award when he returns. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Brian Grant, Chief of the Department of Detention. Detention deputies have a tough and dangerous job. They stand in the gap between the lawless and the innocent. I am so proud of what our men and women do, both inside our facilities and in the community. Our detention deputies are responsible for the safe care, custody, and control of an average inmate population of about 2,400 in 2 county jails, at bookend, during transportation, and in the courthouse. We have 348 certified detention deputies who work around the clock to protect Polk County citizens from those who break the law by safely keeping them locked up. I am proud of all of them. Our 3 finalists for Detention Deputy of the Year have truly made outstanding contributions to the Polk County Sheriff's Office and the people of Polk County. Now our finalists.
In December 2012, Deputy Kayron Brown was assigned to Building 1 of the South County Jail in Frostproof. During the course of his shift, he received a call for assistance over the control room intercom that medical assistance for an inmate was needed. Brown immediately responded. Upon his arrival, he found an unresponsive inmate lying on a bunk inside his cell. Deputy Brown checked the inmate for vital signs and determined that he was not breathing and needed immediate medical attention. He then notified medical personnel to respond to the dorm and began and continued cardiopulmonary resuscitation on the inmate until medical personnel were able to arrive at the scene. Deputy Brown's quick action, compassion, and expert medical assistance to the inmate demonstrated exceptional performance of duty. In September 2012, bailiff James Maxey came upon a tragic three-car crash during inclement weather while traveling south on State Road 17. He quickly began triaging the occupants of all three vehicles and soon concentrated his efforts on the occupants of a car turned on its side. He directed another citizen who stopped to help an unresponsive little girl in the back seat to immobilize the girl's head and neck until EMS arrived. Maxey then moved to the very critically injured driver. She was unable to communicate, and her body was trembling from shock. He communicated with her the only way he could, by holding and squeezing her hand. He realized that she would not likely survive, and he chose to remain with her and the other critically injured passenger to provide them with as much reassurance and comfort as possible. Within a few minutes, EMS arrived and assumed control. Maxey continued to assist law enforcement personnel with traffic control until he was no longer needed on scene. Even though two of the passengers in the car did not survive their life-threatening injuries, Bailiff Maxey's selfless actions and personal care to help others demonstrated his compassion and dedication to duty. In December 2012, while on duty at the South County Jail, Detention Deputy James Harmer was conducting an earlier-than-normal dorm round in the SJ2F section. When he arrived at cell number 216, he discovered the cell door was closed and a towel was covering the window blocking the view into the cell. He was able to see past a small portion of the view-blocking towel, but could not see a complete view of the cell. Harmer called for the cell door to be open and discovered an inmate hanging from the upper bunk with a sheet wrapped around his neck. He immediately called for assistance via radio, and other deputies responded with a cutting tool to cut the sheet. The inmate had no pulse, was not breathing, and was blue and unresponsive. He was laid on his back, and the sheet was removed from his neck. CPR was begun and continued on the inmate, until which time he regained a pulse and was breathing with the assistance of oxygen. The inmate was transported by EMS to another facility for further care and treatment. Deputy Harmer's ability to perceive an unusual circumstance and take the initiative saved the inmate's life.
Awarded the Sheriff Commendation as an outstanding finalist for Detention Deputy of the Year is Bailiff James Maxey. Awarded the Sheriff Commendation as an outstanding finalist for Detention Deputy of the Year and awarded the Life-Saving Medal for his life-saving actions is Detention Deputy K. Ron Brown. And now, for his life-saving actions and outstanding performance of duty, I am pleased to present the recipient of the Life-Saving Medal and our Detention Deputy of the Year, Detention Deputy James Harmer.
We will now recognize our Deputy Sheriff of the Year. There are three finalists for the Deputy Sheriff of the Year. We have 651 sworn deputy sheriffs who provide proactive law enforcement services in the 9th most populated county in the state. We enforce the law countywide in addition to our primary service in unincorporated Polk County and in 7 municipalities. Our deputies are fighting crime every day, preventing, displacing, and solving crime with tremendous success. Our innovative strategies and nonstop work ethic has driven our crime rates to historical lows. The crime rate is 39% less than the statewide crime rate, and the violent crime rate is 46% less than the statewide violent crime rate. I'm exceptionally proud of the work our deputies do, and we are fortunate to have such an outstanding group of men and women serving us. Our three finalists for Deputy Sheriff of the Year have set themselves apart. through their outstanding public service, hard work, and sacrifice. They have made our communities better and safer. Our finalists for the Deputy Sheriff of the Year are
Deputy Sheriff Ralph Wilson responded to a call with other deputies involving a 21-year-old man who was suicidal and barricaded inside a residence. The man had threatened to harm himself, kill his family, and anyone else who responded to the residence in an attempt to stop him. Deputy Wilson was quickly able to establish a rapport with the man by speaking to him through a kitchen window. It became increasingly apparent that the man was in extreme psychological distress and needed medical assistance. A noise in the rear of the residence caused the man to run out the front door, where Wilson quickly grabbed him to prevent him from carrying out his threats or from returning into the residence. An intense physical struggle ensued. At one point, the suspect reached a hand into the back of his waistband and retrieved a firearm. Deputy Wilson immediately fought to take possession of the gun and was able to place part of his hand between the hammer and slide portion of the loaded firearm. During the struggle, a fellow deputy deployed a taser, landing one of the active probes in both the suspect and Wilson, resulting in a shared taser effect. Deputy Wilson fought through the pain and knocked the loaded firearm from the man's grasp out of his reach. The suspect was then handcuffed without injury to himself or anyone else on the scene. Deputy Wilson's actions were valiant in the face of deadly threat and demonstrated steadfast determination and skill. Detective Heather Mundell was instrumental in coordinating a statewide felony lane task force. The Felony Lane Gang is a large organized criminal ring responsible for hundreds of car burglaries targeting high-value vehicles parked in public and private lots. Detective Mundell organized and conducted training sessions for statewide law enforcement officers on the trends and techniques used by this gang. Numerous suspects have been identified and arrested as a result of her work. As a Sheriff's Office liaison member of the Florida Cargo Theft Task Force, Heather was instrumental in battling a multi-million-dollar crime spree. In October 2012, she played a key role in the apprehension of a suspect who had burglarized a semi-tractor and removed a cargo trailer. Mundell's efforts resulted in the arrest of the suspect and others involved in the statewide criminal activity. Through her effective participation in the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, Detective Mundell has assisted with arrests of hundreds of suspects, thus preventing them from inflicting harm on helpless children. She also coordinates and hosts monthly intelligence meetings attended by local, state, and federal agencies. These meetings allow for productive information sharing between the different agencies, leading to more arrests and lower crime. Detective Zoe Viscarando initiated a sexual battery investigation in which a victim disclosed that when he was between the ages of 14 and 15, he was sexually abused by Arnold M. Mathis. Mathis was a registered sex offender and employed as a youth minister at a local church in Lake Wales, Florida. Even though the crime occurred over 6 years prior, Zoe was able to develop probable cause that subsequently led to Mathis's arrest and recent conviction. Viscarando's investigation uncovered numerous sexual-related crimes that Mathis had perpetrated against children in Polk County. Through a search of Mathis's cellular telephone, probable cause was developed for numerous counts of child pornography. As the investigation continued, Viscarando was able to locate 8 more possible juvenile victims. After each victim was interviewed, and they were determined to be victims, the case against Mathis grew. Detective Viscarando's persistence for over a year led to the successful conviction of a man who sexually abused children and created child pornography from his sex abuse. Her work has also prevented other potential victims from being harmed.
awarded a Sheriff's Commendation as outstanding finalist for Deputy Sheriff of the Year and awarded the Meritorious Service Medal for her exceptional performance of duty as Detective Heather Mundell. Awarded a Sheriff's Commendation as outstanding finalist for Deputy Sheriff of the Year is Detective Zoe Viscarando. And now for his bravery, his tenacity and professional conduct above and beyond the call of duty, I am pleased to present the recipient of the Medal of Valor and our Deputy Sheriff of the Year, Deputy Sheriff Ralph Wilson. Congratulations, Ralph. For the guy that needs no introduction, Sheriff Grady Judd, as we all know, built a solid reputation for being a tell-it-like-it-is crime fighter. He's usually short of words, as we all know, and very shy of cameras. He's often recognized for his colorful and candid quotes. One of my favorites, when the sheriff was asked by a reporter why cop killer Angelo Freeland was shot 68 times by a SWAT team, he said, "Because we ran out of bullets." Well, that's certainly classic of our sheriff. And this is also one of my favorites, and he said this just a month ago at the Florida Law Enforcement Memorial where he was a keynote speaker. He says, and let me quote, "Let me send a clear message to those who seek to or would take the life of a law enforcement officer. Rest assured, we are a band of brothers and sisters, and we will hunt you down where you hide, whether across this state or across this nation, to take you into lawful custody and bring you to justice. And if you make one last bad choice by pointing a gun at one of us, we will make one good choice and shoot you graveyard dead." Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and mentor, Grady Judd.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me thank you for taking time out of your evening to be with us as we see a snapshot of the men and women who have done so much. And this is a snapshot because all of the others have performed above and beyond every day as well. It's also important that we recognize that we can't do this without a fantastic Board of County Commissioners who make sure that we have the resources so that we can keep the people of Polk County safe. And what keeps a society in check and what makes sure that the system runs perfectly are our judges. And I can tell you, folks, our judges call it the way it is. They follow the law. I'm so very proud that I live in a community where our county and circuit bench of judges are above and beyond and simply the best, and they follow the law, which makes it easy for us to do our job because we know the rules, and they're the ones that make sure that we all follow the rules. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the loss of Master Deputy Sheriff Shane Robbins just a few short weeks ago. That has really left us gasping for air and shaken to the core once again. Shane was unlike any other. His member file reflected the positive impact he had on the community. And I can tell you that there are children that were victims, vicious victims, that are safe tonight because of Shane. I can also tell you because Shane had that charisma and that personality, he was able to obtain evidence where others couldn't so that we could put really, really, really bad guys who would want to prey on our children in prison for a long time. He will be memorialized next year in 2014, but we'll never forget our colleague and our friend. I can tell you that the men and women of the Sheriff's Office always answer the call, and I'm very proud of them. We try to treat all of the victims in this community, whether it's a minor crime or a major crime, the way we would want our mother treated if she were the victim of a crime. And here's an example. Denise Crawford, in her own words, about Detention Deputy Charity Lee Reynolds. Let me read this. Dear Sheriff Judd, I'm writing you to tell you about a wonderful employee. Deputy Reynolds is all I know her by. She isn't a street deputy. She works in the jail. This morning, my oldest son was on his way to work and was in a single car accident that resulted in him being ejected from the vehicle. I was out of town in Clearwater when I got the call from Deputy Reynolds. She was on her way to work and saw my son's truck flipped over in a grassy area off of the road. She stopped to check on things and found him scared and confused. He only wanted someone to call his mom. She called to tell me he was in an accident, he was asking for me, and he was okay. I'm thankful my son's alive, and I'm also thankful she cared enough to let me know, as well as reassure him and me that things were going to be okay. He was scared and alone. I was scared and far away. Deputy Reynolds was the connection, and the only connection, between mother and son. If the outcome of this accident would have been different and my son would have lost his life, I would have wished for that one last moment to talk to him, to try and comfort him, as he would have wanted to hear my voice as well. Deputy Reynolds gave us just that connection we needed at that very special moment. So I wanted you to know that I'm thankful for her and for the awesome job you and all of your deputies do to protect us in Polk County. Thanks again from a mother feeling very blessed tonight. Keep up the awesome job. And that was one of two that's come in just within the last week. As first responders, we're always on duty. Recently, while off duty, Deputy Sheriff Deborah Martin came upon a very serious multi-vehicle traffic crash. She saw the toddler strapped in a car seat sitting on the side of the road where he had been thrown out of the vehicle. She positioned her vehicle to protect the child. Once she ensured the child was safe in his safety seat, she proceeded to check on the passengers of one of the vehicles and began life-saving efforts on an infant who wasn't so lucky. She didn't drive past the crash like multiple other vehicles did at that very same time. She did what was right. She stopped and helped. She gave CPR, and that child made it successfully to the hospital. I'm sorry to report that the child died later on. She wasn't at work. She was on a busy time schedule trying to get her kids to school, but this is what we do, and it's not just while we are at work. These folks are heroes, and they do heroic acts every day. And the majority of the heroic things that they do, we never hear about. It's never reported in the newspaper or on television. We are not a normal law enforcement agency. We're not a run-of-the-mill or an average law enforcement agency. And here's the proof. With all of the work our folks have done, with the life-saving measures, in addition to that, we have 8 professional accreditations. We have a dual flagship. Ladies and gentlemen, out of 15,600 plus or minus local law enforcement agencies in this nation, we are one of only 4 that has such a high recognition. The other 3 are police departments. We're forging ahead. We're visioning for the future. As we sit here today, as you go to work tomorrow, we all will be looking at the strategies, the tactic, and the plans to keep you safe next year and next decade. Our crime's at a 41-year low, and that's no accident. The people of the community work with us. They report information to us. And as a result, we solve crime and save lives. But ladies and gentlemen, if it weren't for working hand in hand with the State Attorney's Office, our federal and state partners, the U.S. Attorney's Office, if it weren't for the wonderful judges we have, this system would collapse. But we're not ever going to let it collapse. We're going to make it even better tomorrow than it is today. We're never satisfied with the status quo. We're never satisfied with being good, and we're never satisfied with being great. We're going to be greater than great, and we can only do that because you give us the support. You make me proud every day to be your sheriff. I thank you for all you do, ladies and gentlemen of the Sheriff's Office, men and women of the community. I thank you for all that you do to make this a wonderful community in which to live, work, and play. I wish God's greatest blessings on each and every one of you. Before we're dismissed, Reverend Glenn Giles, one of our volunteer chaplains. I like the way volunteer sounds. It saves us so much money. And so does our county manager, Jim Freeman, like that, by the way. He'll come forward with a benediction.
Please stand with me for our closing prayer. Father God, we thank you today for, first of all, being our God. We thank you, secondly, God, for being able to serve with one of the most accredited and one of the best law enforcement agencies in the world, right here in Polk County, Florida. And God, I ask you tonight, as I ask you every day, to be with all of our law enforcement, to be with our first responders, to be with our teachers who train our children every day, and for all those folks involved in our kids' lives. Father, thank you for all the dedication that this sheriff's office puts into people every day in every way. And God, we ask you tonight as we close these ceremonies that you would go with us, that you would keep us safe, that you would watch over us as we go to our respective homes and to our respective places. And God, thank you for your love. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your kindness. In Jesus' name, amen.